Rory McIlroy just silenced a stadium of hostile US fans, right in the middle of golf's loudest meltdown. But this wasn't a hot-headed outburst. It was the breaking point of a champion battered by abuse unlike anything golf's ever seen. Why did one of the sport's most respected stars finally snap? And what really happened after the cameras stopped rolling? The chaos at Bethpage Black ran much deeper than anyone realized, until Rory destroyed the hecklers in that press conference. Here's how it all exploded. Saturday at Bethpage Black, the noise never let up. Rory McIlroy steps onto the 11th green, jaw set, eyes scanning the gallery. Shouts cut through the air, taunts about Pinehurst, jabs about his family, jeers laced with venom. He backs off his ball, stares into the crowd, and for a split second, the tension snaps. His left hand flashes up, a middle finger, quick and unmistakable, aimed at the cluster of hecklers who've hounded him all day. Cameras catch it. The gallery erupts, some gasping, some roaring their approval. Rory doesn't flinch. He turns back, takes his stance, and as another voice tries to cut through, he fires back. "Guys, shut up!" The words slice through the noise, and for the first time all afternoon, the chaos pauses. Silence hangs over the green. Then, pure contact. Rory stripes his approach, the ball soaring toward the flag, landing just where he wants it. That was the moment. Not a meltdown, not a tantrum, but a champion refusing to swallow another insult. For golf, a sport built on quiet and respect, it was something almost unthinkable. A player fighting back, not with clubs, but with a message the whole stadium could hear. Taunts at Bethpage didn't come in isolated bursts. They hammered down, shot after shot, until the air itself seemed poisoned. Every time Rory stepped over a putt, a chant would start. Pinehurst. A cruel reminder of his US Open heartbreak. Then, as he drew back his club, someone would yell about his swing, his family, even his country. The crowd didn't just break golf's cardinal rule of silence, they stomped on it, turning every moment into a test of nerve. It wasn't just words. The pattern was relentless. A wave of jeers, then a hush, as if the crowd remembered the old rules. Then one voice would cut through the silence, perfectly timed to shatter concentration. Personal insults, nationality slurs, even crude jokes about his marriage. Nothing was off limits. Security officers lined the fairways, a sight unheard of in golf's history. Their presence was a silent admission that things had gone beyond rivalry. Police reports later confirmed hundreds of ejections, with alcohol-fueled outbursts spiking as the afternoon wore on. Players from both teams described the atmosphere as feral and toxic, worse than any Ryder or President's Cup before. Rory wasn't facing a crowd. He was running a gauntlet, every hole a new barrage, every shot a dare to keep his cool while the mob circled, hungry for a crack in his armor. A plastic cup sails from the crowd, arcing through the humid New York air and strikes Erica McIlroy near the ropes. In an instant, the noise and bravado of Bethpage turn ugly and personal. Erica isn't a player. She's not wearing a team uniform or holding a club. She's just there to support her husband, standing among families and friends, until a stranger's drink makes her collateral damage. Cameras catch Rory breaking from the fairway, moving to her side, his arm around her shoulders as she flinches in shock. The moment is raw, her face a mix of disbelief and fear, Rory's jaw clenched tight as he whispers reassurance. Teammates Justin Rose and Shane Lowry are there too, eyes scanning the gallery, disbelief written across their faces. Later, both men confirm what happened. A drink was thrown, it hit Erica, and the mood among Team Europe shifts from frustration to fury. There's no confusion or gray area. This isn't about rivalry or gamesmanship anymore. It's about a line crossed, a family targeted. The police presence that lined the fairways suddenly feels justified, but it's too late for apologies. No one in the crowd is singled out, no one steps forward. The anonymity of the mob gives cover to the act, but the damage is done. Rory stands with Erica, holding her close, both of them silent as the world watches. In that moment, the sport's code of respect means nothing to the people who broke it. For the first time all week, the story isn't about missed putts or pressure. It's about decency, and who's willing to defend it when the cheers turn to cruelty. On Sunday morning, the fallout from Bethpage reached the officials' own ranks. The tournament MC, the one entrusted with setting the tone from the first tee, had grabbed the microphone and, instead of calming the storm, joined in the ugliest chant of the week. His voice, amplified over the crowd, fused with the mob. "F you, Rory." The words echoed across the opening hole, not from a drunken fan, but from the event's official mouthpiece. Within hours, his resignation landed in the PGA's inbox. The apology followed. "I let my emotions get the better of me. I apologize to Rory, his family, and Team Europe. My behavior was inappropriate and crossed a line. No excuses, no spin, just a public admission that the institution itself had failed to protect the game's values." The PGA of America scrambled to contain the damage. President Don Ria issued a formal letter to Rory, Erica, and Team Europe, calling the crowd's behavior unacceptable and offering unreserved apologies to those affected, especially the McIlroys. American media didn't pull punches either. ESPN ran the headline, "Bethpage turned toxic." Reuters called it "Golf's sacred standards violated." Even US players and analysts, Brandel Chambly among them, acknowledged the crowd had gone too far. By Sunday, extra police and security cordoned off the ropes, a silent admission that things had spun out of control. This wasn't just a few bad apples or a passionate home crowd. The system had joined the mob, and now, with receipts piling up, resignations, apologies, headlines, the verdict was clear. The abuse Rory faced wasn't part of the game. It was a failure, owned by the very people meant to uphold the sport's soul. Rory steps up to the microphone, the Ryder Cup trophy shining in his hands, and the room settles. No anger in his voice, just steady, measured disappointment. He looks out, not at the crowd, but through them, and lays down the law. "Golf should be held to a higher standard than other sports," he says, the words ringing with quiet authority. There's no gloating, only a reminder of what the game is supposed to be. He continues, "I think we shut them up pretty well by the golf we played on the course. That's not a boast, it's a statement of fact. Team Europe did their talking with birdies and clutch putts, not with shouts or gestures. Then Rory draws the line everyone else refused to draw all week. You can support your team all you want, but don't cross the line of decency." He doesn't mention names, doesn't need to. The message is clear. Passion is welcome, cruelty is not. And finally, he makes it personal. Family is off limits. In that moment, the debate isn't about winning or losing anymore. It's about what kind of sport golf wants to be and who gets to decide where the boundaries are drawn. Golf's unwritten code has survived centuries. 150 years of silence on the tee, handshakes at the end, and an honor system that once set it apart from every other sport. But Bethpage proved those traditions aren't guaranteed. When cheers turn into jeers and boundaries vanish, the game itself stands at a crossroads. Organizers and players now face a choice: double down on the chaos, or reclaim what made golf different in the first place. The next test comes at Adair Manor in Ireland, 2027. Rory has already promised that European fans will bring passion, not poison. "Support your home team," he told them. But what happened here is not acceptable. Behind the scenes, event planners are working with crowd experts and even consulting Rory himself, aiming for a tournament that feels electric but never hostile. Plans include stricter alcohol controls, clear codes of conduct, and dedicated safe zones for families and players. If Bethpage's brand of mayhem becomes the new normal, golf risks losing its soul. But if Adair Manor lives up to its promise, passion with class, it could remind the world why etiquette still matters. The question now, can a sport built on respect survive the pull of the mob? On Saturday at Bethpage Black, security lined the fairways as Rory McIlroy faced relentless heckling, documented by multiple cameras and police records. When a drink struck his wife in the crowd, and even the event MC joined in a hostile chant, the PGA of America issued formal written apologies, and the MC resigned. American media outlets, including ESPN and Reuters, called the crowd's actions over the line. Yet, questions remain. How will organizers prevent future incidents? And will the promised standards hold at the 2027 Adair Manor event? Golf has a 150-year tradition of silence and respect. But Bethpage forced the sport to confront what happens when those boundaries are ignored. As Rory said while holding the trophy, golf should be held to a higher standard than other sports. The facts are clear. What happened at Bethpage changed golf's conversation about where competition ends and decency begins.